Hello everyone, I'm coming to you on a later Friday afternoon from my office. I'm just about to close up for the day, and I was just thinking about the best part of my job really is all the amazing people that I get to work with and help them to become unstuck, to literally start to melt the freeze response in their body. So, how does this happen? How do we get shut down in so many ways? And how do we start to undo that? That's probably the question of the century. So when we have, traumas that are given to us, we download, we inherit, we experience ourselves, our body goes into fight, flight, freeze. You've probably heard of that. So what actually happens within our body? To make a really complex story short, how it starts to show up is that when our vagus nerve, that's responsible for restoring us and to rest and digest, starts to not activate. So we're staying in a high alert situation inside of our body, and perhaps because of our environment outside of us, which is really, in a lot of ways, today's world, we start to shut down within our body. So really how this shows up, particularly for so many women, is in their gut. We shut down our emotions, we shut down our feelings, we shut down our intuition because it's too much in the moment. It's overload, it's overwhelm for our heart to manage. So when that gets shut down, when you're in survival, you don't have a lot of time for digestion or reproduction or feeling. It's not the time. And what I see in so many women, I work in the field of chronic pain. It's part of my world. Pelvic pain. So much pelvic pain. We have clinics now popping up for pelvic pain to help women. Pelvic pain, also, I'm going to speak from my own experience. Through a particularly difficult time in my life, I developed the most excruciating pelvic pain. It was a couple of years after my first child, trying to conceive again, and I felt a lot of pressure. I was getting older, all of those things. And I had a child, and I know what that pain is like. But it was nothing compared to this pain, which was eventually diagnosed as endometriosis. So that's one of the ways. And there's more to that story for another time. Other ways we see are eating problems, eating disorders. I'm basically going to shut down this part of my body, not only because the world tells us like it shouldn't be nice and pudgy and comfy, but it should be flat and six-pack abs. Well, it's very unnatural. And trying to fit into like skinny jeans, who didn't do that as a teenager? Not good for the belly and all those beautiful organs in there. A lot of nausea, and what happens is we get shut down on the womb, heart, throat axis, this internal divine feminine axis. And what can't be managed in the heart, and this is kind of Chinese medicine, and the womb space holds for us. It holds until our heart is ready to actually process some of the heartbreak, some of the heartache, some of the grief that we've been holding in our bodies. So it shows up as stomach issues, as tight chest, and also on this axis, tight throat. So in the healing that I do now, we go right into the womb space, whether you have a womb or not, whether you're a man or a woman, we have this energetic space where things are held. And as we start to really work that area, and this is all what I've discovered over 3 decades of working as a trauma and chronic pain therapist. And what I've discovered is when we really work that with deep breath work, that we start to release some of these traumas, some of these emotions and patterns. And it's release and a remembering that comes after that of who you truly are before you developed all these rigid patterns of ways of being in the world. And then a rebirth is what we call it at the end, because we're really rebirthing a new life now. So if you can remember all those times that you squeezed into jeans, or perhaps you were told to sit still, or you felt tight in your body and your lower back, you know, when we got trained to really to run, you know, to run in our lives or to run competitively instead of walking. And walking gives us this beautiful pelvic movement that's natural. Dancing, any of this kind of movement that starts to loosen you up and ground down through the root, through the bottom half of your body. And then we can start to feel safer. And as we start to feel safer, the womb, the belly feels safer to start processing, alchemizing, and releasing the stress that keeps us in lockdown. I hope this has been helpful for you. It really made sense to me when I experienced it in my own body and I started working with clients. So if this resonates and you would like to set up a chat to talk about whether transformational womb breath work is for you, I work with clients for 8 weeks at a time. It's an intense 8 weeks, but I know that life is short and we want to get this stuff done so that you can release, remember who you truly are, and rebirth your own world through your body. Take care, everyone. And it's Friday. Have a great weekend.